Hello again. Right. Back again with Kerbal Space Program, everybody's favourite little fake green space frog things, whatever they are. Yeah. So let's go back here into this career mode playthrough. We shall see. Last time we did the docking around Mun, landed on the Mun, put a flag there and came home. So what we have now is a couple of options really. Explore Minmus, so go and orbit Minmus and go on a spacewalk. That's not particularly difficult to do, and we can combine that with that. Probably going to go with that. However, the first one I'm going to do is this, which is this satellite polar orbit of Kerbin, because to be honest, that's not... yeah, I was going to say that's not a particularly difficult one to do. Then I remembered the last time I tried to do this. So anyway, reach the designated orbit, has an antenna and generates power, but it doesn't need anything else. Right. Sorry, not that one. We're going to use this one, the Hex. So called because... I'll leave that to your imagination. So, antennas is going to be 3, because... Well, again, just look at the thing. So we'll put 3 of those on. We are also going to put 3 of the new solar panels on. And what we now have is these. These are folding solar panels, so these work a lot better. So that's that. We want a battery pack. Right. That's the satellite. As always, it's going to get an experiment on board because, well, why wouldn't it, quite frankly? This is going to be Kerbin Star 4, I think we're up to. I can't remember. Probably should look at things like that. Anyway, so that is that. That is the satellite. Right. That now needs a reaction wheel adding. It is then going to require coupling, which I think is that one, which is the DDD coupler. That is going to want a fuel tank. It's going to... Doesn't need one of those. It's going to get one of those. It's not getting one of those. The reason it's not getting one of those is it really doesn't need it. That'll just make it far too heavy. Engines wise, we do have some small engines now, you see. Ant. Yes. What is this, an engine for ants? It's basically a very small engine. So, yeah. Right, that's the satellite. That's the engine stage to mess around. When it gets into the final orbit, we'll just deploy everything and we'll leave it there. If you remember, this orbit intersects Mun's orbit, so what we're going to do is drop this into orbit, get the credit for dropping it into orbit, and then we're taking it out of orbit again, and we're going to do something else. We're going to go and put it into a slightly elliptical orbit. The purpose of which is basically... I can't quite do that. Go there and then do that. That looks quite nice. Bullet shaped. It does, I feel, however, need to go up a little bit, because as we've seen on previous attempts at doing this missions can use a reasonable amount of fuel up. That gets it into space. That should get it into its orbit. This requires launching in a suitable angle. So what we will do is we will launch. Check that decoupler and that engine can fire together. That decoupler and that engine can fire together. Yes, what we'll do is launch this into a suitable polar inclination. So I want one of those and then one of those. And a swivelly. And if we do what we did before and go show all, we'll see that it will get off the pad. But getting it all the way into space is going to be a bit of a struggle. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to use these ones this time. Not use these yet. Same decouplers as normal, they've just got a standoff attachment on them. Put swivels under there as well, because it gives complete control. Aero. A nice nose cone, and then the near obligatory struts. Again, I don't think this one's going to need fins because it's now got the nose cone fairing on the top. We'll do that. That is going to fire at the same time. Those do. Show all. Yeah, nearly 2G off the pad. Fair bit. So I can do that. I can throttle down. Right. I'm going to give it some of those, like that. Doesn't need to be held that high up. I can do that. Much nearer the pad. That'll do. Right. Save that. And not put it on the pad yet. The reason for this is obviously it's not going to generate any power until I get where I need to. Now we've got here the orbit we need to get to is this green one, which is unfortunately you can't get this to highlight which one's which. It is that one. That's the only orbit mission we've got. The red one is the other mission we have. So what I need to do is see where... See, the space center is there. So what's needed is to fast forward a little bit until the space center is in the roughly the right... about there. So the space center is in roughly the right inclination, and if I launch heading north, it'll work. And basically this means I don't have to do the big plane change maneuver. So Kerbin Star 4 launch. Here we go. Wee wobbly. Right. So as before, I need to head north, which is not ideal, but there we go. I probably don't need full throttle. I'm going to go with full throttle off the pad. I probably don't need it, but I'm going to go with it. And then we're going to head north, like this. Keep going. This one's got quite good acceleration. The orbit won't be perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's just got to be good enough. And now I can throttle down a bit. Because frankly, there's no point. There's no point losing too much performance to aerodynamic drag until we get quite a bit higher up. Okay, this is now... This is a failed flight at this point. Drop that, drop that. Space Center, abandoned mission, and I'll fly that again. Basically just tipped over too far. It will fly quite happily without the... Where is it? Be over there somewhere. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that'll come back in a minute, so we'll try that again. Launch. I could put fins on it. I don't need to. I just need to not tip it over quite as far as I did. So that was... we'll class that one as operator error. That. And then tip over a little bit this way. And not tip over too far. This probe, as you can see, this has got prograde and retrograde. This actually makes it rather good for making landers. Because it can do the I will hold my engine pointing in the correct direction on descent bit, which the other one can't do. So, and again, I'm just going to throttle down a little bit as we go up. We should really be tilted over a lot more than we are. We're going to quite a high orbit, however, so I'm not actually too fussed, as long as I've got the inclination roughly right. Which we should have. I'll check that. Yeah, we're heading north, and it's twisting round slowly. We've got the lateral motion as well, so if I just do that slightly, that will kill that off a little bit more. Throttle that down a bit more. Get rid of those, and then throttle up. As you see, we are going to space today, which is the key bit here. Back into normal flight. And what I need to do is get that orbit prograde sitting on the north line, and that'll tell me we've managed that side of it correctly. Come down like this, all the way down here. We're too high for the atmosphere to be a problem at the moment. So when this one runs out, do that, and you can pop the fairing at the same time. And if we look sideways, you can see the yeah, perhaps this is quite a long way to go, but I'm not too bothered with that. We should be able to manage that. Get that up here somewhere, and then we can sort it out. And the inclination, if you look on the node at the top, -9. We're not quite there, but it's not far off, which is the key bit. That's all that really matters. And hopefully this will have the fuel to do what it needs. It should 2,000 odd on the upper stage. It should do. So map. What I'm going to do is extend one of the antennas. I can do the rest of them later. We are using battery power up. These solar panels don't do anything until they get deployed. And obviously, since we're not deploying them yet, they're not doing anything yet. They do have a limit on how much gravity they can cope with in terms of acceleration, however. So yeah, that's something to watch out for. There's no point trying to do any form of plane correction until we get in line with where we need to be to do it. So yeah, this is going to use its satellite engine stage to get where it needs to, but that's fine. I don't mind. Whee! Look at that. There we go. And plane changes are cheaper further out. So we will do the plane change further out. I do want to make sure I get nowhere near Mun, which is rather important here. Right, so anyway, these wonderful new solar panels, how do these work? Well, we extend them, and unlike the previous ones, these turn to face the sun automatically. So I don't have to worry too much about orienting the satellite anymore. I can just leave it in whatever I want. So I'm going to bring us all the way out here, like this. As you see, we're all the way out here with plenty of power still. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? I can make the satellite do that. I can rotate us around so I can get that periapsis out to near where it needs to be. Which we do have the fuel to do, and then go around to the descending node and rotate the orbit suitably until we hit the contract. Oh, look at that. Plant flag on the Mun, we've done. Side surface of the Mun, okay. There we are, contract complete. we've done this one. Now, this isn't really where I want this to be. I'm going to go to here. Add a manoeuvre. Not add a manoeuvre, sorry. What I'm actually going to do, thinking about it, there's probably an easy way of doing this. What I'm trying to avoid is this thing ever coming into contact with Mun. And the easiest way of doing that at this point is make it much, much higher than Mun. I was going to make it more elliptical, but I'll do it this way. And again, this thing will function as a communications relay satellite, which is always a useful thing to have. That'll do. Then we come out there like that, and there we are, done. That's it. And it's got plenty of other options. That's panels in direct sunlight, direct sunlight, direct sunlight. So this is generating way, way, way more power than it needs to. I'll keep it that way. Right. That's that one done. Let's go to Minmus. So we need to see what we're going to do. Minmus is orbit and a spacewalk, if memory serves. Let's have a little look. Ooh, orbital station. They're not bad missions, but I'm going to leave it for now. So, this there. Explore Minmus. So, yep. Spacewalk near Minmus, orbit Minmus. Bring back some science from space around Minmus. Okay. That's not particularly difficult to do. The craft I'm going to do that with is the Gemstone. So, I will load one of those. Load Gemstone 3. There we are. This has got the performance to do it. Check all the staging works. And then we have to look at who we're going to do. Jeb has been, so Val is going to go this time because she will then level up to level 2 as well. And take a scientist, or I'm going to take a scientist with us because we might be able to do some interesting bits of science out there. Now this thing doesn't have, if memory serves, this thing does not have a science kit on board. It isn't really a science spacecraft as such. So what I'm going to do is add some. Actually, the build. What have we got in terms of science? The junior, yeah, it would be alright, but isn't really needed. I think they're going to come out here to do their EVAs, so I'm going to go a goo pod there. The thermometer and other bit I'm going to leave up there because then I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to say I'm not putting the Science Junior on board. We're not doing EVA science or anything daft like that on this one. Off we go. Minmus. Wait for this to come up. There we are. Again, let's warp to sunrise. Yeah, wait for that to come up. I just prefer launching when I can see what I'm doing. Right. Normal orbit. Again, I could sort of try and launch into the right inclination. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to. So here we go. You have to be a little bit careful with this one. This one doesn't have the performance off the pad the Mun lander does, so I can't tip over quite as aggressively. I will catch you in orbit. Ta-da! In orbit. It did occur to me actually I should probably have upgraded the solar panels on this craft. There are foldable versions of these as well, the extending ones. But obviously, basically, if you're building something that once it's got into orbit can stay there, you sort of don't need them. Right, let's drag this out. Let's go out here like so. Get it out near Minmus. Yeah, that lovely minty moon. There we go, look at that. Periapsis, yeah, that'll do. Minmus. There is a Minmus encounter there. Minmus escape, whatever. Yeah, that'll do. You're going to go around to there. This is going to put us on a weird sort of semi-polar-y type orbit of Minmus, but I'm not bothered. All we have to do is orbit it and then come home. And in practice, what I'll probably do is a manoeuvre change when we get out there. So that'll do. Warp to that. Here we are, Minmus. So what I need to do is get into orbit and then do the spacewalk and all the various bits of science we came here to do. There we go. Now in Minmus orbit. Doesn't have to be brilliant orbit. Let's have a little look. Where's Minmus? It's got to be around here somewhere. Ooh, Kerbal and Mun. Look at that. Now we know it's either above us or below. Ah, there we are. Look at that. Look at that. Minmus. Joy of Minmus. So, well, let's do the science. So I want to observe the goo. Yes, we have to go outside and get that. Crew report. Yeah, it's not going to give us much. Basically, we've been to Minmus before, so we're not actually going to learn a huge amount of science from doing this. Log temperature, yes, we'll keep that. Log pressure, we'll keep that. Yeah. We'll get some. We'll get a little bit from the goo pod. We're not going to get much. Right. Now, in order to make the EVA easier, I'm going to put this pointing in the correct direction, a little bit relative to the plane of the sun, like that. And then what I'm going to do is rotate that like so. And what I'm actually trying to do is find there our Minmus. I want Minmus in shot, you see. We are going to send Bob out on EVA, who's going to do us an EVA report, which again isn't going to earn us a great deal. That is too close to get to, so I'm going to do that. He's going to let go. He's going to turn his engine packs on. I'm going to grab a screen grab of that for the thumbnail, because these things matter. Right. Now we're then going to come down until that comes within reach. Collect data. Remove data. There we go. Go there. Grab. And board. There we are. So that also gives us the spacewalk mission. So if we come on here, explore Minmus, orbital spacewalk around Minmus. Transmit or recover psi data from space around Minmus. We'll get that when we get home. So, if now I've got to do is go home. So, I already know we are in about the right position, just purely because we've only just got here. So, if I extend this and go like so, grab hold of that. There we are. Kill that. And that is that boost stage dealt with. So if I now do, we can use the engine on this. I mean, it's 2,000 odd. This is going to use a trivial amount of fuel to do this thing. Yeah, this is sort of shows I could potentially do quite a lot more with this ship, which is quite nice. Wait for that. There, and then a little bit more. That'll do. Right, we're going home. Now I've actually got the fuel here if I wanted to do a proper orbital capture around Kerbin, and then we can sort of like pick our landing spot quite nicely. I can't be bothered. I don't need to. So what I'm going to do is again get to a little bit above the atmosphere, ditch the command module section. That'll do, and then like that. And let Val ride us home. And as usual, I will see you on the ground in a minute. And here we are back at the spaceport. As you see, 15 science. We didn't really gain a lot from that. Recovered a few bits and pieces. Val has leveled up. Bob hasn't leveled up yet, but we'll get there. Sorry, that was the wrong button. I meant to look in here. So you see on here, Bob, Orbit Kerbin, Orbit Minmus. Difference is Val's been on the Mun. So, yes. Courage and stupidity. I love how they came up with that as the ratings for these guys. So we can recover that bit, recover that bit. Let's have a little look at what else we've got. Explore Minmus, land and return. That is a definite. Flag on Minmus we will do at the same time because we can go around it. Side data from surf base around the Mun. Very happy with that one because we can do that more or less instantly. So we should just go off here. Where have we got here? Turn the satellites on. Space around the Mun. Oh, look at that Mun star. That'll do. See, this is the advantage. You give them names, you can sort of see what you're doing. This is log temperature, transmit. Oh, they are. That's that contract done. It really is cheesy. You don't get a huge amount of science benefit from it, but you do get paid, and that is enough for me. So what have we got here? Attach a new part to a satellite. Yeah. Aging Kerbin RSA, yeah, there's another satellite in orbit. They want us to go up there and weld something to it. I don't want to do that. That is quite a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, it's basically 5 kerbals. This is there's a 4 kerbal module and you put the cupola thing on the top. Right, it can support 5. It's not going to have 5. You give it a docking pod, you give it some solar panels, you give it lots and lots of batteries, and you stick it in orbit around the Mun. Fairly easy to do. It's a little bit pointless, though. This is part of the problem. Satellite around there, yeah, whatever. Anyway, what have we got? So, flag on Mun, yeah, we know we've got that one. Rescue so-and-so from orbit of the Mun. That'll be another video. Explore Minmus, flag on Minmus. That will be probably the next video. It's going to return a eye-watering amount of science. We have a lander that can do it. We're going to build a different one. Basically, we've got slightly more technology now, so we're going to build a different one. Simple as that. That'll grab us an absolute eye-watering amount of science. I think I'm going to do the flag on Mun mission first, because that will unlock some parts which will assist with that bit. Munstone, yeah, that one's a pain. That more or less needs a rover to do that. Is land with a rover, and then you can drive around until you can find one of the things, and then you can bring it back. So, that is it for this episode. I think that will be. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all in the next one. Likes, comments, yada yada yada, more than welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you all soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.